Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Havoc. I have a special video for you guys today. This is kind of going to be in conjunction with my previous video where I show you how to live stream using your next-gen console with an Elgato HD PVR and OBS, okay? Now the reason why I'm doing this video is simply because, one, out of my curiosity, I have been wanting to learn how to do this, and two, a lot of you have been having some audio issues with your PlayStation 4 in terms of when you plug your actual headset into the console. You're not getting any in-game output, whether it's to the stream or when you're recording. So this is hopefully going to solve that problem for you. Now, I don't have this problem with the Xbox One. Most of my settings work perfectly fine. So hopefully, let's see if we can get this to work for you. If it doesn't, I really do apologize, but this video is pretty much going to be dedicated to those of you that are having this problem. Okay, so before we actually start getting into things, you're probably wondering, why would I want just one headphone, for my entire setup? Well, one, it's convenient. It's a lot easier, and it's a lot cheaper than going out and buying a mixer, which is actually the most ideal way if you're like an audio freak and you have to have perfection. Then you want to get an audio mixer. But if you're someone like me that just kind of does this once in a while, you want to plug your headset into your controller, but you still want to use TeamSpeak through your PC, because the party system through the Xbox or Skype just causes a lot of interference, and then you end up like sacrificing the audio balance. Like, you either have the game too high and then you can't hear your team, and vice versa. It's just kind of a pain in the butt. So ideally, this is probably the best budget way to do it. Now, with that being said, there are a few components that you're going to need. Now, this is going to work with your auxiliary style headphones. Now, this can be done with like the Astro A40s, A50s, because they have a mix amp, and I'm not going to go into that. There might be an alternative way that you can do this with a wireless headset, or possibly even a headset that uses a USB cable. But this is the way that I know. This may not work for you if you don't have this type of headset, but it works for me, okay? So obviously, alright, so there are also going to be some certain components that you are going to need in order to do this setup, and you probably already have most of it. Things like your Xbox One controller, you are going to need this, especially the headset adapter that this is purchased separately. And when you purchase it, it is going to come with a two male audio connector. So one is a headset and one is microphone. You're also going to have, of course, your normal headset, which, as you can see, mine is the Siberia V2, and this comes standard with the two male connectors, which connect to the female connectors, and then the male connectors go into the PC. That's normally how it goes. Okay, so that's mainly what you probably already have. If you do not have the Xbox headset adapter, you're going to need one of these, okay? Well, in essence, you probably don't, because you're going to have just the audio port here, but this will work a lot easier if you actually get the extender that comes with it. Now, the one component you will need in order to make this work is going to be a headset version only of a 2 male to 1 female connector. These have to be specifically for headset. It cannot be a microphone and headphone connectors. They have to be headset to headset. So, like, for instance, these ones right here, the right one is for headphones, the left one's for audio, or for microphone. If you have a version of this splitter right here that is headset to mic, it will not work, okay? Because the idea here is to split off the audio into onto two different devices. So now that we got all those components laid out on the table, let's start putting everything together. Alright, so now that we're going to get everything set up here, you want to grab your Xbox One or PlayStation 4 controller and make sure that your headset adapter is plugged in. And you're going to grab the extension for the headset adapter that comes with the device and plug it directly into your Xbox One or PlayStation 4 controller. So now, as you can see right now, we do have two female connectors here. One is for headset and one is for your microphone, but because I'm not going to be using a microphone, I don't really need to worry about this female connector. Now, ideally, if you wanted to do both, and in other words, you want to talk to your teammates in game on the console and you want to utilize TeamSpeak or Skype on your computer, then you probably would need a secondary microphone. So like the one I'm using right now is my Blue Yeti, whereas I would have to use this specific headset to talk to my friends through the console. I couldn't do both. Well, theoretically you actually could if you bought another splitter, but that just kind of makes this whole setup more complicated as it is. And So let's not do that. So now that once we've done that, now we need to grab our splitter that we purchased off Amazon or bought at Best Buy. These this cost me about $3. Off of Amazon, the price does vary depending on the length of the cable. I don't really need anything longer than this since everything is pretty much on one table for me, and my Siberia headset cord is like massively long. So once you got this, remember this has to be headset only splitter. You're gonna have 2 males to 1 female, female being the whole, okay? Now what you want to do is take one of the male connectors and you're gonna plug it into the headset female connector, okay? Because this is gonna be the special link between what we're trying to do. So once you've got that set up there, we're gonna move a little bit, move this. We're now going to take the headset component of our Siberia right here, and we're going to plug it into the female connector of our new splitter we just bought. Alright, so now that we've done that, we have kind of like a weird cable setup, and this is going to look funky, guys, but for me this isn't something I do every day. I don't really use my headset on my controller as much, so it doesn't really take that long. I don't mind the extra weirdness because I'm not really sitting there looking at my cable. Alright, so now that you have gotten that connector set up, you need to grab the other end of the splitter that we just bought, okay? And I say new splitter because obviously this is the, where all the connections lie, and you may not get too confused, hopefully. I hope to God I don't confuse you guys. Anyways, you're going to take this male connector of the new splitter you just bought, and you're going to grab the headset female connector of the other half of your headset. I told you this cable here, right here, connects to my headset right here, okay? It's conjoined, but we're basically splitting it in half and using this splitter to connect both of them. So take the male connector of the new splitter and plug it in to your headset female connector, okay? Now, in theory, all I'd have to do now is take the headset male connector of my Siberia headset and plug this into my computer. Okay, once I plug that into my computer, I will now have audio coming from my game console straight into my headset and anything coming from my PC. Okay, so just for educational purposes, not that you're going to see it, I'm going to do it anyway. Alright, now it's completely plugged into my PC. Let me pop all this off here. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, well, I have a female connector here still, and I still have a microphone connector, and oh yeah, another female connector. Like I said, if you don't plan on using your microphone for your console, don't worry about this connector here. Alright, for giggles, I mean, if you want, you can just connect the other microphone from your headset to the secondary half of your headset, and, just if you don't want any loose ends, you don't want anything that just kind of dangling around. Now, and then that's about it. So that is how you connect everything. Like I said, it looks really funky, but it's not really too bad. Now, there is going to be, the controller is going to feel a little bit heavier than before. To me, it's not that big of a deal. If you kind of have weak wrists or you just don't like the feeling of it, perhaps you might find a better way of, laying your cable or running your cable so it's not really in the way. Or if you have like one of those gaming cushions where you can just rest it on your lap, that'll be even better for you. So now that's set up, there's one more thing we actually have to address, because this is going to be a slight issue if I don't talk about it. When you do plug in everything, meaning you have your headset connector connected and you have it to your PC, the audio is going to be, the sound is going to be reduced drastically, meaning if your headset is at 100% and you're hearing music just fine, once you plug everything in, it's going to sound like it's on 20%, meaning the volume is going to be reduced drastically, okay? When I turned on my console and tried this out, the same thing applied. I couldn't really hear anything. I thought that it wasn't working. You do have to manually adjust a few settings. Let me go ahead and show you how to do that. Okay, so now for the part that we do need to work on. As I mentioned before, the audio is going to sound drastically lower once you plug everything in, and this is because the frequencies of each device is being split. Okay, so you're trying to get output from two different devices into a single headset, so you do have to do some manual adjusting. And this is also why a mixer comes in handy, because it's a lot more easier to mess with. But for the most part, what you're going to relatively need to do here is you're going to need to open one of your audio managers. Now, I have an Asus Realtek audio manager, so this is where I do a lot of my balancing. So, for instance, when I plugged everything in and I went to test the game sound on, say, Halo, right, the audio sound, besides the fact that it sounded quite low, everything sounded relatively fine, relatively normal, okay, just like if you were just plugging it in to your controller and that's it. When I played music or any audio on my PC, everything was going towards the right side of my headset, okay, so it was pretty much off balance, right? It sounded really weird to me. So this is what you're gonna have to do. Now, for me, all I had to really do is for the main volume, this is under the speakers tab, okay, of wherever your audio manager is. I had to move this about 3 clicks to the left side of the ear cup, and everything sounded just normal, okay? You may not have to do this, okay? This I had to do in order to make it sound normal for me, but it all, I guess it's comes down to who you are and what kind of audio setup you have going. Now, same thing with your speakers here. You have volume control that you can do. Now, I had to go manually into like my volume mixer, and I had to manually adjust everything, okay? But the other cool thing about having one headset and splitting everything off is now you have more control over what programs you want to be louder than the other. So that does help. So you have to manually adjust your volume until you find what works best for you, and then slightly adjust the audio balance until it sounds perfectly normal. Now, the microphone did also sound a little bit low, okay? And so for me, you can either go through your audio manager and boost your mic. If you don't have this kind of control panel, you can also right click into your speakers, go to recording devices, and find your, here we go into your properties, and actually do your microphone adjustment here, or you can do a microphone boost. And as you can see, I had to do a microphone boost. My headset's already kind of been acting up, and it's probably time for me to get a new one, but you get the idea. So you'll have to adjust it here. And then pretty much after that, you're set to go. Now, when you do unplug everything, you will kind of have to reset these values because you're still making adjustments to your audio. So when you unplug everything, everything's gonna get really loud again, and you're gonna have a little more audio on the left side of your headset than your right side. So you're gonna want to reset all of this up. And other than that, that's really just about it. I know this video was desperately needed because this was a lot more complex than I actually thought it would be. And I did spend a good 2 hours really just kind of making sure everything settings-wise was working perfectly in conjunction with the actual Xbox One console. So that's pretty much how you do it. Like I said, this may not work for you on PlayStation 4. The whole audio thing with the controller, I'm not really sure what's up with that, if Sony intended to do it that way, or I don't really know. Hopefully this solves your guys' issues. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to have questions still, and that's absolutely fine. Please do feel free to ask. I am here to help. I really do enjoy helping you guys out with technicalities. So if you have any questions or concerns or problems you're running into, please don't hesitate to drop a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and I'll get you all set up, okay? But thank you so much for watching the video. If this helped you out, give it a like, share it with a couple friends if you know they're having a couple issues with that, or if they want to run the same setup. And until then, I'll see you guys later.